You never really know what's lurking in the depths of your favourite game, and glitches and bugs can accidentally reveal to you a whole world of unexpected territory. Whether it's just a tiny room or maybe a whole new area, it's always a bit exciting to find somewhere you're not meant to be. So I'm Amy from WhatCulture, and here are 8 broken video game areas you weren't supposed to access. 8. Resident Evil 4's shotgun glitch. Resident Evil 4 is no stranger to bugs, exploits and glitches, no doubt as a result of its extreme popularity in the speedrunning community. If it can shave 0.2 seconds off of a run, then you better believe that people will go out of their way to abuse it. One particular trick allows players to clip through a very specific wall just before a boss fight, using a popular speedrunning trick that allows the player to move at 1.5 times walking speed. The player can then clip through a wall next to a merchant and loot an entire slew of items, from ammo to herbs and even a shotgun that isn't featured anywhere else in the game. The items presumably belong to the merchant and transfer into your inventory should you purchase them from him, but why bother doing that when they're free? Supposedly this bug only works on European and American versions of the game, but attempting to equip the unique shotgun on any version of the game except the remastered version can lead to soft locks and possibly save data erasure, so don't say you weren't warned. 7. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, the KENNEL world glitch. Some of the areas featured in this list can only be found because certain data or cut content that should have been erased from the game can be accessed through certain bugs or exploits. The KENNEL world glitch in Link's Awakening is a rare example of an area spawned as a result of the exploit itself, causing the game to act in a specific way in an attempt to fix itself. The KENNEL world in Link's Awakening is an exploit performed by clipping into the dog kennel in the starting area of the game, which will then transport the player into a buggy, bizarrely compiled version of the dungeons in the main game. The areas aren't rendered properly, frequently cause game crashes, and have infinitely lootable chests allowing you to break the game early. This exploit can be done from the very start of the game, making it popular with those looking to earn rupees fast or even bypass time-consuming quests like getting the slime key in order to access the key cavern. 6. SHREK Extra Large, the internal GameCube? SHREK Extra Large, the GameCube port of the 2001 SHREK game that originally launched on the Xbox, has a rather odd secret that can only be found in the GameCube version of the title. There's what appears to be an old debug room in the form of a fully rendered interior of a GameCube. The room is only reachable by clipping outside of the map geometry, at which point the game will spawn you inside the thing. Theories on why exactly the map exists range from a debug room initially used for testing purposes to an unused secret that was never properly implemented. The level of detail is honestly quite impressive, utilising assets that aren't seen anywhere else in the game. Considering it's only possible to reach the area through illegitimate means, it's safe to say that this is less of an Easter egg and more of an unintentional secret. So that leaves the obvious question, why a GameCube? Considering developer Digital Illusions, now known better as DICE, had never worked on a GameCube title before SHREK Extra Large, it's safe to assume that this was their own little testing room that they used to practice development of the game. 5. Pokemon Red and Blue and Diamond and Pearl, Glitch City. Glitch City is a now infamous glitch in the original Pokemon Red and Blue games that allowed players to spawn into a terrifying hellscape devoid of sense, logic or reason, a result of the game trying to transport you to an area that doesn't have a corresponding warp tile. Lesser known, however, is the officially titled Mystery Zone in Diamond and Pearl, only accessible by clipping out of bounds or tweaking as it's more commonly referred to. The weird thing about this area is that it's actually marked as Mystery Zone on the game map and has its own specific audio track. This does imply that the developers either knew players would try to access the out-of-bounds area, or that an area called Mystery Zone was planned to be accessible at one point in time. More importantly to Pokemon fans, this bug can be used to break the game in several ways. It can be used to teleport to areas way earlier than intended, or through the use of extremely precise step counting to catch legendary Pokemon that can usually only be found through special events. 4. Cadence of Hyrule, the wall jump glitch. It can sometimes be hard to discern the difference between something that's a bug and something that's an Easter egg, and in the case of Cadence of Hyrule, the answer is somewhere in the middle. In the game, it's possible to go out of bounds using a glitch that helps you clip through walls, by propping up a brick against them and then jumping over it. Exactly where you go from there will be different for every player depending on their map, but forcing yourself off the map will spawn you in front of a house that can't be accessed through legitimate means. Inside the house, you can find an item called the Boots of Speed, a unique item that can't be purchased anywhere else in the game. The person inside the house says, "I am Error," and refers to themselves as Error Hooligan. Although this seems like a very blatant Easter egg, the method to reach the location was actually patched out of the game not long after it was discovered. It's possible that the location serves as a debug room and was never actually meant to be found. 3. Red Dead Redemption 2, A Whole New World. Unfortunately for fans of the Red Dead series, Rockstar has been pretty quiet about any future single-player updates for the franchise and have instead opted to focus on updating the multiplayer component of Red Dead 2. Yet, through the use of glitches that have since been patched out of the game, it's actually possible to force yourself out of the map and find yourself in a poorly rendered yet oddly detailed version of Mexico from the first game. Given Red Dead 2's troubled development cycle and the slew of content cut from the game before the release, many people theorized that Mexico was originally meant to be included in the game, only to be scrapped not long before release. The strange thing is, according to some internet sleuths, part of the map was updated after an update was released for Red Dead Online, long after the original bug to spawn out the map was found. This could imply that Rockstar is secretly working on a Mexico update for the game, to be released as single-player content further down the line, but really, we probably shouldn't hold our breath. 2. BIOSHOCK, The Hidden Chamber. On your way to meet Andrew Ryan for your first encounter, it's possible to trigger a glitch in which you spawn in a normally inaccessible Vita chamber outside the map. This little bug is actually present in every version of the game, but the methods to reach it are different depending on which version of the game you're playing. To trigger the bug in the original release of BioShock, first get your health down to almost zero, then trigger your meeting with Andrew Ryan, and finally reduce your health to total zero using an incinerate plasmid. Once you're back up, you'll be in a Vita chamber that's otherwise impossible to access. If you turn on the art captions feature, there's even a message that reads, "Bug this. If you can read this, Paul Hellquist didn't do his job. Love, Klein." In the remastered version of the game, the method to reach it is a little more creative, but still shows the aforementioned "bug this" phrase, implying that the developers assumed players might find another way to reach the area even though the original exploit was patched out. 1. Animal Crossing on GameCube, The Tester Island. In Animal Crossing on GameCube, through the use of a very specific exploit one could only describe as incredibly time-consuming, it's possible to warp into a strange beta version of the town. To trigger this glitch, firstly you have to assemble enough bells to pay off one of your debts. Then you have to make sure there's an event on in town, and you have to make sure you know exactly when the event will start. Then you enter the post office just before the event starts and pay off your loan. If you did everything right, things should start to get a bit weird. Because you've caused two events to overlap, the game will freak out and you'll be transported to a beta version of the town map. The map itself is clearly a testing area, featuring weird terrain, villagers with garbled names that either can't be spoken to or simply repeat the same phrases. There's every type of flower available in the game and trees at every possible stage of growth. The game probably transports you here as it's the default debug location, considering it was likely the very first location the developers ever designed for the game. And with that, we've reached the end of this list of 8 broken video game areas you weren't supposed to access. Let us know of any more you might have found in the comments down below. And remember to check out WhatCulture.com for more lists and articles like this every single day. As always, I've been Amy from WhatCulture, and I'll catch you next time.